Imagine a world where the oceans trembled, not at the sight of a great white shark, but at the emergence of a Leviathan so enormous, so powerful that it made jaws look like a minnow. Welcome to the Miocene epoch 12 million years ago, when the true lord of the seas was not a shark, but a whale. A whale with teeth the size of your arm and a bite force that could crush a car. This is the story of Livyatan Melvili, this whale that puts the awe back in Jaws. For millions of years, the oceans have been home to creatures that defy our imagination, but none have captured our fears and fascination quite like the great white shark immortalized in Steven Spielberg's 1975 classic Jaws. But if there was a predator so mighty, so terrifying, that it would make even the fiercest shark seem like small fry, this is the story of that predator, a whale that hunted other whales, a creature with a bite more powerful than any shark, a true sea monster that swam the ancient seas. This is the story of Livyatan Melvili. In 1975, Steven Spielberg's Jaws terrified audiences worldwide and changed how we view the oceans. But what if instead of a great white shark, the star had been a prehistoric whale? Today, we're diving deep into the world of Livyatan Melvili, a creature so fearsome it makes Bruce the shark look like a goldfish. When we first discovered Leviathan fossils in 2008, we knew we had something special. This wasn't just another whale, this was a sea monster straight out of legend. But Leviathan was no legend, it was very real and very deadly. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of this incredible creature and explore what the world might have looked like if Leviathan, not Jaws, had captured our collective imagination. Our journey will take us from the sun-baked deserts of Peru to the depths of the ancient oceans. We'll meet the scientists piecing together the Leviathan puzzle and the artists bringing this creature to life. We'll explore its world, its prey, and its eventual extinction. And we'll ask ourselves, what can Leviathan teach us about our own relationship with oceans? Our story begins in the sun-baked Pisco Isa Desert of Peru. It's 2008 and a team of paleontologists is about to make a discovery that will rewrite the history books. We were excavating in an area known for marine fossils when we came across something extraordinary, a skull fragment with a tooth socket nearly 10 inches across. We knew immediately this was something big, really big. Over the next few days, the team carefully excavated more of the fossil. With each passing hour, the magnitude of their discovery became clearer. As we uncovered more of the skull, we realized we were dealing with a completely new species of whale. And not just any whale, this was a predator with massive teeth in both its upper and lower jaws. The team had discovered the remains of what would soon be named Livyatan Melvili. But why such an unusual name? Leviathan comes from the Hebrew word Leviathan, a biblical sea monster, and Melvili, that's a nod to Herman Melville, author of Moby Dick. It seems fitting that a whale of such monstrous proportions should be named after literature's most famous whale. It's fascinating how science and literature intersects here. Melville's white whale was a symbol of the vast, unknowable power of nature. Leviathan embodies the same sense of awe and terror. In Moby Dick, the great white whale is a force of nature, unknowable and unstoppable. Leviathan, in many ways, is the real-life embodiment of this literary Leviathan. When we read Moby Dick, we're struck by the sheer power and majesty of the whale. Now with Leviathan, we have a real prehistoric whale that matches and perhaps even surpasses Melville's creation in terms of its ferocity and predatory nature. But unlike Moby Dick, Leviathan wasn't just a creature of imagination, it was real, and the fossils found in Peru were just the beginning of unraveling its mysteries. The discovery of Leviathan opened up a new chapter in our understanding of prehistoric marine ecosystems. It shows us that the oceans of the past were even more incredible and terrifying than we had imagined. Classifications and similarities to sperm whale. So what exactly was Leviathan? To understand this ancient predator, we need to look at its modern day relatives. Leviathan belongs to the same family as today's sperm whales, but while modern sperm whales are gentle giants feeding primarily on squid, Leviathan was an apex predator. To truly appreciate Leviathan, we need to understand the incredible evolutionary journey of whales. From land-dwelling mammals to the diverse array of cetaceans we see today, the story of whale evolution is one of the most fascinating in the natural world. The ancestors of whales were land mammals that returned to the sea about 50 million years ago. Over millions of years, they adapted to life in the water, developing streamlined bodies, powerful tails, and eventually, in some species, echolocation. As whales diversified, different feeding strategies emerged. Some, like the ancestors of baleen whales, became filter feeders. Others, like the ancestors of sperm whales and Leviathan, became active predators. What's fascinating about Leviathan is that it represents a unique evolutionary experiment. It was a sperm whale relative that took the predatory lifestyle to an extreme. Both Leviathan and sperm whales share some key features. A large box-like head filled with spermaceti, an organ used in echolocation, but whereas sperm whales have relatively small teeth only in their lower jaw, Leviathan had massive teeth in both jaws. The difference is dentition tells us a lot about how Leviathan lived and hunted. It was clearly adapted for seizing and crushing large prey. Unlike modern sperm whales, which primarily feed on soft-bodied squid, the lineage that led to Leviathan diverged from the ancestors of modern sperm whales millions of years ago. While modern sperm whales evolved to become deep-diving squid hunters, Leviathan took a different path. Leviathan represents a fascinating what-if in whale evolution. What if sperm whales had continued down the path of active predation instead of specializing in squid hunting? Leviathan gives us a glimpse of that alternated evolutionary path. Leviathan was a true giant of the prehistoric seas. Estimates suggest it could grow up to 57 feet long. That's about the length of a semi-truck. We estimate Leviathan could have weighed up to 50 tons, that roughly the weight of 7 adult African elephants. To help visualize this, we've drawn a life-size outline of Leviathan on this page. As you can see, it dwarfs the people standing next to it. What's truly mind-boggling is that Leviathan wasn't even the biggest animal in the oceans at the time. That title likely belonged to the ancestors of today's blue whales, but Leviathan was undoubtedly the largest predator. To put Leviathan's size into perspective, let's compare it with some other marine giants at 57 feet. It was larger than a modern killer whale, which typically reaches lengths of 20 to 26 feet. It was also bigger than the largest great white sharks, which max out at around 20 feet. Even compared to other prehistoric marine predators, Leviathan was a giant. It was likely larger than most megalodon individuals, though the very largest megalodons may have slightly exceeded in its length. But size alone doesn't tell the whole story. What made Leviathan truly formidable was how it combined its massive size with predatory adaptations. Imagine a predator that's size of a sperm whale, but instead of hunting squid, it's attacking other whales. That's Leviathan. It's like combining the size of a sperm whale with the predatory nature of a killer whale and then scaling everything up. This combination of size and predatory adaptations made Leviathan one of the most formidable hunters ever to swim the Earth's ocean. But to truly understand its hunting prowess, we need to look at its most progressive, impressive features: its teeth, the largest teeth ever. If Leviathan's size doesn't impress you, its teeth certainly will. Leviathan had the largest teeth of any known animal, extinct or living. The largest could reach nearly 14 inches in length. To put that in perspective, the largest great white shark teeth are about 3 inches long. T-Rex teeth, about 9 inches. Leviathan's teeth topped them all. But Leviathan's teeth weren't just for show, they were deadly weapons perfectly adapted for hunting large prey. The teeth of Leviathan tell us a lot about its feeding habits. They're not just large, they're also robust and slightly curved. This suggests they were used for seizing and crushing large prey. If we look closely at the structure of the teeth, we can see they are built to withstand enormous pressures. The enamel is thick and the teeth are deeply rooted in the jaw. Unlike the teeth of many modern marine predators, which are adapted for slicing or gripping, Leviathan's teeth seem to have been designed for crushing. This fits with what we believe about Leviathan's prey. If it was hunting other whales, it wouldn't need teeth that could crush through thick blubber and bone. Like modern sharks, Leviathan likely had the ability to replace its teeth throughout its lifetime. We found the evidence of tooth replacement in Leviathan fossils. This would have been crucial for such an active predator. If it lost or broke a tooth while hunting, a new one would grow to replace it. With a full set of these massive teeth in both its upper and lower jaws, Leviathan's mouth was truly the stuff of nightmares. But to understand how it used these fearsome weapons, we need to look at its bite force, a gruesome and powerful bite. With its massive jaws and teeth, Leviathan had one of the most powerful bites in history. We've estimated Leviathan's bite force at around 10,000 to 40,000 pounds of force. For comparison, a lion's bite force is about 1,000 pounds. To demonstrate this incredible power, we've set up a hydraulic press to stimulate Leviathan's bite. Watch as it easily crushes this car door. Now imagine that force applied to living prey. It's no wonder Leviathan was the apex predator of its time. When we model the bite force of Leviathan, we're looking at a number of factors: the size and shape of the jaw, the attachment points of jaw muscles, and the structure of teeth themselves. Leviathan had an enormous head which provided ample space for powerful jaw muscles, combined with its robust teeth and strong skull structure. This allowed it to generate and withstand incredible bite forces. To put Leviathan's bite force into perspective, let's compare it with some other powerful biters. A great white shark has a bite force of about 4,000 pounds. The mighty T-Rex estimates range from 8,000 to 12,000 pounds. Leviathan likely surpassed them all. What's really impressive is not just the maximum bite force, but how Leviathan could apply that force. Its teeth and jaws were adapted to crush through the tough blubber and bones of large marine mammals. This combination of enormous teeth and incredible bite force made Leviathan a formidable predator. But what exactly was it using these fearsome weapons to hunt? With such formidable hunting equipment, what did Leviathan prey upon? Based on the size and shape of its teeth, we believe Leviathan primarily hunted other marine mammals, including smaller whales, seals, and possibly even other predators like sharks. Fossil evidence supports this theory. We found whale bones from the same period with bite marks that match Leviathan's teeth. Imagine being a smaller whale in these ancient seas. You are swimming along when suddenly you detect a massive shape approaching at high speed. Before you can react, enormous jaws clamp down and let's just say it wasn't a good day to be a small whale. When we look at Leviathan's likely diet, we're seeing a predator that occupied the very top of the food chain. It was essentially filling the ecological niche that today is occupied by large sharks and killer whales. To understand Leviathan's diet, we need to look at the rich ecosystem of the Miocene oceans. These waters were teeming with life, including a diverse array of whale species. The Miocene saw an explosion of whale diversity. We had early baleen whales, various toothed whales, and even early dolphins. Many of these would have been potential prey for Leviathan. But Leviathan wasn't just limited to whale prey. Its size and power would have allowed it to tackle a wide range of marine animals. We can't rule out the possibility that Leviathan also hunted large fish, sharks, and perhaps even giant squid. Its powerful echolocation would have allowed it to hunt in deep waters where such prey might be found. Fossil evidence gives us clues about the animals that shared Leviathan's world and potentially ended up as its meals. We found fossils of various whale species with bite marks that could have been made by Leviathan. We've also found the remains of large sharks and bony fish that show signs of predation. Let's imagine a Leviathan hunt. Our massive predator is cruising through the Miocene seas, using its powerful echolocation to scan for prey. But Leviathan's teeth weren't its only weapon like modern sperm whales. It likely used echolocation to hunt. The spermacety organ in Leviathan's head would have allowed it to produce powerful sound waves to navigate and locate prey in the dark depths of the ocean. This gives us a chilling thought. Leviathan's prey might never have seen it coming. Imagine being hunted by a creature that can see you with sound in the darkest depths of the ocean. If Leviathan's echolocation was anything like modern sperm whales, it could have produced sounds up to 230 decibels. That's louder than a rocket launch. These powerful sound waves would have given Leviathan an incredible advantage in hunting. It could detect prey from great distances and in complete darkness. But echolocation wasn't just a tool for finding prey. Some scientists believe it might have been a weapon in itself. There's a hypothesis that sperm whales can use their powerful echolocation clicks to stun prey. If Leviathan had this ability, it would have been an even more formidable predator. The idea is that these incredibly loud sounds could disorient or even physically impact prey animals. It's like having a sonic weapon built in your head. While we can't know for certain how Leviathan used its echolocation, we can make educated guesses based on its modern relatives. Given Leviathan's large size and predatory nature, it's likely its echolocation was even more powerful than that of modern sperm whales. It might have been able to detect large prey from miles away. One question that fascinates scientists is whether Leviathan hunted alone or in groups. We don't know for certain, but given its size and the size of its prey, Leviathan could have been a solitary hunter. However, we can't rule out the possibility of group hunting, especially when taking down larger prey. Imagine a pod of Leviathan working together to hunt. It's a terrifying thought that would make even the largest prey vulnerable. When we look at modern cetaceans, we see a range of social behaviors. Sperm whales, Leviathan's closest living relatives, are known to be highly social animals for hunting groups. However, sperm whales primarily hunt squid. Leviathan, as a predator of large marine mammals, might have had different social structures. Perhaps Leviathan employed different strategies depending on the prey and the situation. Solitary hunting for smaller prey group, tactics for larger, more challenging targets. The social behavior of extinct animals is one of the hardest things to determine from the fossil record, but it's fascinating to speculate how these enormous predators might have interacted with each other. No discussion of prehistoric marine predators would have been complete without mentioning Megalodon, the giant shark that rules the seas. Or did it? Leviathan and Megalodon existed at the same time and likely competed for the same prey. It's hard to say which was the more dominant predator. While Megalodon was slightly larger overall, Leviathan had several advantages: echolocation, higher intelligence, and those massive teeth in both jaws. Imagine these two titans facing off. It would have been the ultimate prehistoric battle, making the shark from Jaws look like small fry in comparison. When we compare Leviathan and Megalodon, we're looking at two very different types of predators. Megalodon was essentially a scaled-up great white shark, while Leviathan was more like a hyper-predatory sperm whale. Megalodon likely relied on speed and agility, making swift attacks on its prey. Leviathan, with its echolocation, could have been a more methodical hunter, able to track prey over long distances. The presence of both these apex predators in the same ecosystem raises intriguing questions about how they coexisted. It's possible that Leviathan and Megalodon occupied slightly different niches. Perhaps Megalodon focused more on coastal waters while Leviathan ventured into deeper seas. Fossil evidence suggests that there was enough prey to support both of these massive predators. The Miocene oceans were incredibly productive. There were numerous species of whales, seals, and large fish that could have sustained populations of both Leviathan and Megalodon. While we can only speculate, it's entirely possible that these two giants occasionally came into direct conflict. In a confrontation, both animals would have had advantages. Megalodon was possibly more agile, but Leviathan had intelligence and echolocation on its side. It would have been an epic battle indeed. So where did Leviathan call home? Fossil evidence gives us some clues. We found Leviathan fossils in Peru and Chile, but related species have been found as far away as Australia. This suggests they had a wide range of possibly throughout the southern hemisphere. During the Miocene, the oceans were warmer and sea levels were higher. This created vast, rich marine ecosystems perfect for a predator like Leviathan. The Miocene oceans were quite different from today. Many modern coastal areas were underwater, and ocean currents were distributing heat differently. Like modern whales, Leviathan may have undergone long migrations following prey or breeding cycles. Given its size and prey preferences, Leviathan likely needed to cover large areas to find enough food. It might have followed the migrations of other whales, its primary prey. Leviathan shared its world with an incredible cast of characters: giant penguins, enormous sharks, and a diverse array of whales and dolphins. The Miocene oceans were a time of giants when we had huge filter-feeding whales, large sea turtles, and of course Megalodon. Leviathan was part of an ecosystem teeming with large, spectacular animals. Fossil beds from this period are a treasure trove of amazing creatures. But why were there so many giants at this time? The Miocene was a time of significant climate fluctuations. Overall, it was warmer than today, which allowed for high productivity in the oceans. This abundance of food supported a wide array of large animals. From the smallest plankton to the largest whales, the Miocene oceans were a complex and interconnected ecosystem. Leviathan was at the top of this food chain, but it was just one part of an incredibly diverse marine community. Its presence would have had a ripple effect throughout the entire ecosystem. The Miocene epoch was a time of change but also of abundance in the oceans. Several factors contributed to the rise of marine giants: warmer temperatures, higher sea levels, and abundant prey. All of the evolution of large predators like Leviathan. With large filter feeding whales at the base of the food chain, there was enough energy in the system to support massive apex predator like Leviathan and Megalodon. The abundance of large prey animals created an evolutionary arms race as prey got bigger. Predators evolved to match Leviathan represents the peak of its trend in cetacean evolution. While we still have large whales today, the sheer diversity of giant species in the Miocene was unprecedented. It's important to note that this wasn't just a time of large predators. We also see the evolution of the largest filter-feeding whales, ancestors of today's blue whales. The entire marine ecosystem was operating on a massive scale. But like all good things, Leviathan's reign came to an end. By about 9 million years ago, this magnificent predator had vanished from the seas. The exact reasons for Leviathan's extinction are still debated. Climate change, shifts in prey distribution, and competition with other predators likely all played a role. As the climate cooled and sea levels dropped, Leviathan's habitat changed. The rich hunting grounds it depended on began to disappear. It's a stark reminder of how even the mightiest creatures are vulnerable to environmental changes. In a way, Leviathan's story is a cautionary tale for our modern oceans. The late Miocene saw significant cooling and drying. This led to change in ocean circulation and productivity. The abundant prey that supported predators like Leviathan began to disappear. As its prey became scarce, Leviathan would have struggled to find enough food to sustain its massive body. Large predators are often the most vulnerable to ecosystem changes. They require a lot of energy and have specialized hunting strategies. When their prey disappears, they can't easily adapt. Leviathan wasn't alone in its fate. Many of the Miocene's giant marine animals, including Megalodon, would eventually go extinct. The extinction of Leviathan and other marine giants marks the end of an era. It paved the way for the rise of modern marine mammals, including the great whales we see today. As we've journeyed through the world of Leviathan, we've put the awe in jaws, a predator so mighty hunted, whales so large it rivaled Megalodon, with teeth that could crush bone and blubber alike. While Leviathan may be long gone, its legacy lives on in the fossils it left behind and in the imaginations of all who learn its story. The next time you watch Jaws or worry about sharks at the beach, remember there once swam a predator so fearsome it would have made Bruce the shark look like a guppy. In the end, Leviathan reminds us of the incredible diversity of life that has existed on our planet, the power of evolution to create awe-inspiring creatures, and the delicate balance of ecosystems. It challenges us to look at our modern oceans with new eyes, appreciating the giants that still swim there and working to protect them for generations. The story of Leviathan is not just about a long-gone predator, it's a reminder of the incredible potential of life on this planet and the importance of preserving our oceans. Today's whales, sharks, and other marine life are just as awe-inspiring and just as deserving of our protection. As we face our own era of rapid environmental change, the tale of Leviathan serves as both a warning and an inspiration. It shows us the incredible adaptability of life but also its vulnerability. In the end, the most enduring lesson of Leviathan might be this: in the vast ocean of time, every creature, no matter how mighty, is but a passing wave, it's up to us to ensure that the marine life of our time doesn't fade into legend, as Leviathan did millions of years ago. So the next time you stand at the edge of the ocean, take a moment to imagine the incredible creatures that once swam there. And remember, while Leviathan may be gone, the oceans are still full of wonders waiting to be discovered and protected. Hit that subscribe button now and press on the video now popping on your screen. I'm sure you will love it. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and see you there.